going on YouTube? You know who it is. Coming back with a pull week video for the week of July 24th. I got 5 books to review, 1 back issue, so I guess I'll just get started with the back issue before I get into the digital books. And then to the books that I picked up. Get a sip of drink here. Got a cool mug there. Anyways, so back issue first. I read Moon Knight Annual #1. This is from the 2006 run. This is a really good book. I can't pronounce the writer's last name, but the writer's name is Dwayne Switchensky or something like that, and the artist is Jeff Paulo. This book was really cool, really heavy book, dense book. The art in here was pretty awesome, I definitely liked it. The characters were definitely realistic to, their portrayals, and the art was definitely followed their characters and the story. And Moon Knight is hardly in this book. He appears about 3 or 4 times. This story is really about these women and kind of a what do you call them, like a focus group kind of thing for women, kind of therapy for women that have been raped by this, apparently all of them by the same man, who kind of he's an imposter. He kind of poses as different, what's the word? He has all these different jobs. He poses as an astronaut or somebody going through astronaut training, as a lawyer, private eye, things like that. So he does this to kind of lure women in, and he then roofies them, and then he rapes them at their houses. And when they wake up, he's gone, and they wake up all beaten and bruised up, and it's very they can't look at themselves, and it's a very heavy issue. And we get the stories from 3 women in this. And the first woman, her story is she met this guy who's supposed to be an astronaut at a bar, goes home with them, she's roofied, she wakes up, he's gone, she's been raped, and she's all bruised and bloodied. And then she kind of, she doesn't go to the police with it. Instead, she kind of searches for him for herself, and then she finds him with another woman at a kind of diner. Kind of being his character at that time was some like cowboy from Montana or something like that. And she goes into the restaurant. She actually punches this guy, and he still manages to take the girl home that he was luring at that time. He manages to leave with her still, even though he kind of plays her off and all this kind of stuff, and it's really sad what happens to her. And then the next woman, she runs into the same guy, and he's posing, or he's posing as a surgeon, and she then gets raped and roofied and raped in that order, and she can't stand to look at herself. So she actually jumps off her like apartment complex. And that's where Moon Knight first comes in, and he saves her, and he gives her hope, really. He gives her hope in her life and sees the goodness, as she puts it. And then the third woman, she's kind of a bitch, really. She's talking about, she was actually the woman that was with the man when he was a cowboy. And she actually doesn't get raped because Moon Knight actually beats this guy up. And and then the way this ends is really cool. Pretty much gave you guys the whole story, but if you guys can get your hands on this, it's a one-shot. Shouldn't be expensive. If you find this, I definitely say check it out. It's an awesome read. It's one of the best books that I actually read this week, but it doesn't go with my pick of the week because It's from a couple years ago. Next, my digital issues. I'll try to go faster with these. Of course, I don't have them. So I got two. Starting with the Superior Spider-Man issue 14. Pretty good book. Spider-Man. It's kind of a one-shot deal. We see what's happening at the end of what happened with Spider-Man having the raft, and him making his own army, really. And he takes down Shadowland, and he's gonna take down Kingpin and Hobgoblin with it, and he doesn't manage. Well, he manages to take down Shadowland, and so we get that, and there's a lot of action. Ramos is on art again, but I'm not too much of a stickler of art. I'm not like Scott running with comics. He says if the art isn't good, then the comic is all bad. It's 50-50, and if 50% is bad, it's all bad. It's like kind of getting an F on a paper. You got a 50%, but you still got the lowest grade you can. So that's not really it with me. I say the story takes like 80% and the art takes 20%. I enjoy a lot of different kinds of art. Ramos' style isn't my favorite, but in this issue I can deal with it. Some things were kind of weird. Just I had to stare at one page and see what Spider-Man's body was actually doing, because I didn't understand his pose or his position until I was looking at it for about like minute, 2 minutes. But the story in it was pretty good. I'm enjoying where this is going. At the end of this, I guess spoiler alert at the end of this, so Green Goblin gets an appearance again, and I actually like how Ramos draws Green Goblin. I think it's pretty good, and yeah, that's Superior Spider-Man issue 14. Next book, Captain America issue number 9. I enjoyed the first 8 issues. I read them all together, and so they all felt like one big story to me. The end of issue 8 was intense. Crazy things happened, and I was super excited for issue number 9. Issue number 9 did not disappoint, but I think it was just because I read all of Captain America up to that point all together, so it was one big story to me, and then I had to wait for issue number 9. And then it's a kind of light issue in writing and in story. There's just a lot of action. And so it kind of went by quick. And the story, the art, anything of the book didn't disappoint. It was just that, sometimes it's bittersweet to get caught up with a book totally, because then you have to wait for it. And, I was really enjoying it all together. I think the story reads better altogether than in issues, but the story in it was great anyways. Got a lot of, wrap up, not even wrap up, but a lot of continuance of what happened with issue number 8 and how Captain America is feeling about that, and just, this is, well, that is kind of spoiler, so I'll let you guys read it. So, but Captain America issue number 9. Another one of the better comics that I read this week. But everything I read this week was pretty good. And so now, time for the final 2 books that I got. And we'll start off with Scarlet Spider issue number 19. Ending the story arc with the Assassin's Guild and Wolverine and Kane teaming up with Wolverine and all this kind of stuff. It was a lot of action in this whole story. Definitely, the story in it wasn't dense, very, it was just a lot of action. It was an action flick, and that's kind of how I looked at this book. This whole story arc was just, I sit down, I read it, I enjoy the action, kind of like how I read Deathstroke, but the story in it is a little more dense than Deathstroke was, but I enjoy it all the same. We get pretty much Kane and Wolverine defeating the Shadow of Death or something like that. I I can't remember now because I've been watching Spartacus and the Shadow of Death and something like that. I'm getting everything mixed up in my head. But they defeat her and they pretty much defeat the Assassin Guild. And we get some stuff that kind of Kane set up in here that doesn't actually coincide with Superior Spider-Man. But I mean, I'm kind of just separating all these books from each other. But Scarlet Spider issue 19, pretty good issue. Gonna tie in next issue with the next book I have actually, and so pick this up if you're not, because I love Scarlet Spider. But the next issue, keeping with the red cover, is Superior Spider-Man Team Up issue number 1. This book was really cool. The only problem I had with it was, first of all, look at that cover. I actually enjoy Spider-Man's costume, and the art in here was fantastic. The only thing that I didn't like was I was actually reading this before I read Superior Spider-Man issue 14, and there's actually an editor's note at kind of early in the book, but after you've already read a couple pages, of something tying in to Superior Spider-Man 14. So I actually stopped reading this book to go read Superior Spider-Man 14 and then come back to this book. So really, I don't know. I don't think it's a good move to kind of tie in a book that came out the same week as the book that you're tying it in with. So I don't know, but it didn't take me out of this story completely. I mean, it actually took me out because I started reading another book. But I really enjoyed this whole book. Pretty much Spider-Man coming into contact with the Avengers again, and some things are happening. Spider-Man, he's kind of got the heads up on things while everybody else is kind of, in the dark. And it turns out Spider-Man was right about things in this, and we get Moon Knight in here for one panel, so I thought that was really cool. I was freaking out about that, even though he didn't look totally like Moon Knight. He had like a yellow belt and red eyes, but it was Moon Knight, I could tell. This book was just really cool. I enjoy it. It's tying in with Scarlet Spider next issue. We get, at the end of this, in an epilogue, we're getting the Jackal, naturally tying in with Scarlet Spider, and it's going to be really cool with how the very end of this ended. Spider-Man is kind of making his own team a bit, and I can't wait to see it. I really enjoyed this issue, and actually digital code is available if you want it. If you don't have any vendetta or whatever against, if you don't have anything against digital and you want to read this, don't want to buy it, just PM me, comment, first one to do so gets the code. That's how it goes. And that's it for all my books. Yeah, that's really it for my video. I got all these indie books that I'll probably be starting to read soon, but I don't want to get into all that right now for this video, so I'm going to end it here. See you guys, and remember, have a great day.